Jim, we're going to start with you for the next question. Voters have rejected two school bonds, reflecting a sense that property taxes are too high. This past summer, the city of Columbus asked residents to give input on how to spend non-discretionary sales tax dollars, including, and the casinos appear to be contributing to the available funds. How should the city be using these sorts of revenue streams?
I assume you're asking how should they be using discretionary funds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or both.
So let's start with where the funding for discretionary funding comes from. It comes from sales tax. And again, let's go back in history. All of you sitting in this room, if you were here and you went to the polls to vote, voted for our 1% sales tax. When you did that, it was laid out for how it could be spent. It was laid out to take care of capital items. That is how the ordinance is written. It has been redone 3 or 4 different times because it came up for renewal. So it's spelled out how that money can be spent. We can't indiscriminately take funding. And I've heard this said, well, we need this over here. Let's take some of that sales tax money and put it there. We can't. Now, do we want to look at doing that down the road? We can restructure the format of our sales tax and how that needs to be spent. But that's a decision made by the public. That decision has been made already, and we have to follow through on that. You ask about casino funding. To date, we've got about $200,000 that's come in. It goes directly to the general fund. The general fund is the only fund that is supported by sale of property tax. So anything going into that fund helps reduce the need that we would ask for property tax.
The question, I thought, was non-discretionary spending, that amount of the taxes that is not actually called out for in the budget. And what we need to do with that, if you saw just a couple months ago, there was a questionnaire or in the paper, well, it was online. And they ask you what things you would like to see the non-discretionary money that is not always called for, what you want to see done. And they give you a list of things and you were supposed to drag it up. I think, and the way that they put it, it was in a paragraph, the first 5 things. The first one was streets, and I knew that was going to happen. And so they're asking the citizens, what do you want to spend non-discretionary funding on? I would spend it or put it back in paying off our debt. $90-some million of debt and paying that off, along with the casino funds. And we have no idea what that's going to be. We could have real problems with the casino. It could be a real pot of gold. I don't want to say that, but it could be.
So just for clarification, can I ask where $92 million of debt is, please? $92 million of debt.
That's what I got on the sheet from your director of finance in Bonn.
No, $92 million of debt we do not have, Mr. Greene.
Let's move on.
I have the sheet.
Then you need
Then she gave me
Let's
false
move on.
numbers.
We'll move on to the next question. We'll look that up later.